Okay, so this jobs report, huh? 336,000 new jobs in September.
Wow.
Yeah, on the surface, it's a party, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's celebrating. But let's be honest, economic news, it's like, feels like you're constantly just getting hit with the latest and greatest thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
for sure.
And
All
we're
right.
going to do more than just scratch the surface today, okay? We're going on a deep dive into this jobs report, figure out what it means for you,
Absolutely.
and to help us navigate these somewhat murky economic waters, we've got our expert here.
Yeah.
Now, 336,000 new jobs, that's impressive, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually way higher than what analysts thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
What makes this number so significant? Like, what is it telling us about the economy right now?
Well, I think it's significant because it really throws a wrench in the plans of the Federal Reserve, right, who have been steadily increasing interest rates to try to combat inflation.
Right.
And see, their goal, the Fed's goal, is to sort of moderate economic growth,
Right.
to tap the brakes a little bit so inflation doesn't spiral out of control.
Right.
And this unexpectedly high jobs number suggests that the economy is maybe a bit too resilient,
Yeah.
a little too hot for their liking.
So it's like the Fed is trying to, like, gently lower a boat into the water, and suddenly this wave comes along.
Yeah.
This huge wave of new jobs comes
What?
along and rocks the boat.
Exactly. This jobs report has really complicated their strategy. And to understand why, we need to kind of dig a little deeper into where these new jobs are appearing, because it's not uniform across all sectors.
Right, and the report highlighted some pretty interesting trends in specific industries. It makes sense that healthcare is booming. I mean, the need for medical care is constant, pandemic or no pandemic. But what I found really interesting was just the resurgence of the leisure and hospitality sectors.
Yes.
You
These
know,
industries that were just hit incredibly hard during the pandemic
yeah,
with widespread layoffs and closures.
for sure.
And now they're showing this remarkable rebound, adding a significant chunk of those 336,000 new jobs. It really speaks to, I think, this pent-up demand for travel and dining out entertainment after, a period of uncertainty and restrictions.
So people are ready to kind of get out there and enjoy life again.
Yeah,
And that translates to a surge in demand, and then businesses need to staff up.
exactly.
It's interesting how those dots connect. But there's another layer to this whole jobs puzzle, one that really kind of caught my eye, and that's the role of immigration. The report suggests that it might be playing a larger role than a lot of folks anticipated.
Yes, and this is where things get even more interesting. There's this idea out there that immigration might be like suppressing wages or making it harder for native-born workers. But this report, it kind of suggests something different.
Yeah.
It looks like immigration is actually helping to deal with this big labor shortage,
Right.
particularly in areas like, leisure and hospitality,
Yeah.
filling those really important roles.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Helping the economy, get back on its feet.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears just a little bit and talk about another, a really important part of this whole jobs report thing, right? Wages. Because like a job, yeah, that's great, but it's got to pay the bills.
Right.
And the report mentions that wages are going up, which, hey, good news for everyone working, right?
Yeah.
But it also says that the growth, it's not as fast as some people thought it would be. So what's going on there?
See, that slower wage growth, that's a big deal. It
Yeah.
could actually be a good sign.
Okay.
Remember we were talking about the Fed trying to keep inflation in check?
Yeah.
Well, one thing they worry about is this thing called get this, wage price spiral.
A wage price spiral.
Yeah. So imagine this. Prices go up.
Okay. Makes sense.
So people need more money to, keep up.
Right. Got to buy groceries.
Exactly. But then businesses, they raise prices again because their costs just went up.
Oh, I see. So it just keeps going.
Yeah. It's like this endless loop. Prices up, wages up, and round we go.
Like chasing your tail. You never quite.
Exactly. You got it.
Huh. So this whole slower wage growth thing,
Mm-hmm.
does that mean maybe, just maybe, that the Fed, they're doing something right?
It's possible, right? If wages don't grow too fast, it takes some pressure off those businesses.
Right.
Maybe they won't have to keep raising prices like crazy, and that could help, put the brakes on inflation.
Okay.
But, and this is important, we're kind of, reading tea leaves here,
Yeah.
trying to figure out what the economy is going to do next.
Right. So we've got this really interesting situation, right? The job market's booming, but there's still this worry about inflation.
Yeah.
The Fed is trying to walk this tightrope with the interest rates. And then we've got immigration in the mix. It's kind of a lot. So how's Wall Street feeling about all of this? I mean, they're usually paying attention to this kind of stuff, right? I mean, Wall Street, they like when things are predictable, right?
Right.
And this report, this is not that.
No, not at all. This is like throwing a real curveball, you know? Investors don't always like that.
Yeah, makes sense. Because think about it. Strong economy, low unemployment, usually that's good for companies, right? Stock prices go up.
Right.
But this report, it might make the Fed think, okay, got to keep raising those interest rates because higher interest rates, that means it costs more for businesses to like borrow money.
Exactly. And that can slow down, you know, investment, make businesses hesitate.
Makes sense.
It's a real balancing act. And everyone on Wall Street is watching the Fed super closely now, trying to figure out what their next move is going to be.
So that next meeting they've got in November,
Oh, yeah.
that's going to be a big one.
Huge. Everyone's going to be on the edge of their seats.
Okay. So just to kind of like recap everything, we've got this jobs report, right? It breaks all the records, which is good, but it also makes things kind of confusing.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for sure.
Inflation is still hanging around. The Fed is, doing their best to keep things from going crazy.
Try to find that sweet spot, yeah.
Exactly. And then there's this whole immigration angle. So for folks like me, regular people just trying to, I don't understand what's going on with the economy and how it affects our lives.
Yeah.
What's the key takeaway here?
You know, I think the big thing to remember is that the economy, it's not always predictable.
Yeah, for sure.
Just when you think you've got it all figured out, something like this jobs report pops up.
It's like the economy has a mind of its own.
It really does. But the important thing is to stay informed, right?
Okay.
Be ready to adapt.
Yeah.
And always remember that behind all these numbers and reports, we're talking about real people
Yeah.
making decisions, trying to make things work.
That's a really good point. And it's something we always try to keep in mind here on the deep dive, right? We want to help make sense of all these economic forces that are, pushing and pulling on all of us.
Absolutely. Demystify it a little.
Exactly. So next time you see some big economic news, remember, there's always more to the story. It's probably more complicated than it looks.
It usually is.
And we'll be here to break it all down for you.